Hi there, this is Diecast channel, and in this video we're going to do a review on some Greenlight Ford Rancheros. Besides, we're going to check on one more pickup that's very interesting as well. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up to subscribe in case you haven't subscribed yet, and stay with me to the end of this video because we're going to unpack all those cars and take a better look at them. First, we have three 1972 Ford Rancheros. 1972 is a year that's unique for Torinos and Rancheros. These three models are from three different collections of Greenlight. The black one is a Black Bandit, the yellow one is a Mackin Auctions, and the green one is the Vintage Ad Cars. Yellow 1972 and the beige 1973 that look very nice. Two Rancheros. 1973 had more reinforced bumpers in the front, but the rest of the body was basically the same. This 1972 has a yellow interior, which is something kind of unique. Although in the picture of the real car, that was actually auctioned, the interior is black instead of yellow, and the yellow interior really wouldn't make much sense. But anyway, the two cars look very nice. And this wood grain pattern for the 1973 Ranchero looks awesome. Greenlight has used the same body for the Ford Torinos in the other years to make this 1973, since the grille for 1973 would be a little bit more to the flat size. We're going to take a look at a picture of a real car and check it out. Ford Rancheros, the 1972, 1973, and 1976. Which is a Starskin Hutch Ranchero. 1976 Ford Gran Torino Starskin Hutch and Ford Ranchero. They've got the same front. The only difference is Ford Torino, the Gran Torino, has the bumper guards, and the Ford Ranchero doesn't have them. But they've got the same grille, same front, same headlights. Ford Ranchero would have a rear that would look more like the Ford Torino station wagon for the year. But the rest of the car is pretty much the same as Ford Torino. This platform trailer is also very interesting, and you can hitch it to any Ranchero I've shown on this video. They've all got this tow hitch. I really like this hitch and tow collection, and Hollywood hitch and tow has got very unique combinations. Last but not least, we have the 1986 Chevrolet El Camino made by Racing Champions. This El Camino is based on a Chevrolet Monte Carlo, and the rear looks pretty much like those Chevelle station wagons for the 1970s and 80s, the end of 1970s and 80s. Chevrolet El Camino was based on first on the Impala for 1959 and 1960, and then in the 60s it started being based on the Chevelles, and then on the Chevrolet Monte Carlos. And it became a real nice pickup truck and a very interesting pickup to have. Nowadays it's an interesting car to have as an old car, because it's not only an old car you have as a toy, but you have an old car, you have a muscle car, and you have a pickup. So you have a muscle pickup actually, since it could also have those V8 big blocks that were available to the muscle cars of a time. It's a very nice car, a very nice color combination, and Racing Champions has done a great job in it. 1972 Rancheros, which is grill match for 1972, and the hood's open. We can check the engines. They're all made in Ford blue, with the air filter made in silver for the yellow and the black Ford Ranchero, and blue and silver for the green Ford Ranchero. Two Rancheros for 1973 and 1976. It has a wood grain pattern just like it would happen in the station wagon. The grille would be more flat instead of having the sharp edge right here. The 12 rectangles, and two of them are the turning lights. And the turning lights for 1976 are the two rectangles that are closer to the headlights. And both models of headlights are also very realistic. The engines and the engine bays are pretty much correct. 1973 engine should be blue, just like the other Ford engines. 1976 Gran Torino with the engine bay and the correct engine. 1986 Chevy El Camino And one thing that Racing Champion does very well, and Greenlight usually doesn't do in its cars, is the mirrors. And the mirrors look pretty proportional for this Chevy El Camino. They look pretty correct. Wheels for the 1972 models. They've got the mags for the yellow one and the green one. Windshields have got very good transparency. 73 Ranchero has got the mags. And the 76 got the custom Stark Skin Hutch wheels. 1986 Camino with those 5-spoke custom wheels. The custom muffler and the two-tone painting has a very good quality. The seats are very nice. And the bed cover. Rear ends for the Ford Rancheros hasn't changed anything from 1972 to 1976. The tail lights, tailgates, and the beds really remain the same, with the same patterns for all models. The only thing that has changed from one model to the other one was maybe the version of the rear end of your El Camino with the plastic bumper. That's a separate piece. And a tailgate with the license plate and the Chevrolet bow tie. It looks very realistic and very nice. Taillights also look very realistic. They are painted on the bumpers. And we can see the steering wheel and the dashboard, head restraints, and a very good transparency for the rear glass. The base of Racing Champions is also a metal base. We can see the engine, a tranny, the catalytic converter. The only issue is it doesn't have the muffler going sideways just like it should, since you have this muffler tips right here on the side of this fiberglass piece that would go in the real car. But that was perhaps because this base would be shared with some different stock versions of this El Camino. Going back to Motor Trend's New Cars 72, in the cover we can see front of a 1972 Torino. 1971 Ford Torinos. Ford Torino Esquire wagon for 1971. For 1972 new quarter panels, just like we saw in the Ford Ranchero. 71 Ford Ranchero and 72 Ford Ranchero. 71 would be a steeper slope right here in the cab. 72 a thicker C-pier right here. The rear end of a Ford Torino, that's the Ford Torino Sports Roof. Ford Torino Sports Roof we had before is just like that one I've shown in the 1:18 scale. And the rear of the station wagon, it looks pretty much like the rear of the Ford Ranchero we've seen. The same taillights, and the tailgate is almost the same. The bumper is pretty similar as well. This new bumper is going to be for 1972 and 1973. New car 73 with a 1973 Ford Torino, as we're going to check. On page 14 of the 72 Ford Torino, as we could notice in the model cars. And the 1973 has a flat grille, but the divisions are correct with the 12 divisions and the directional lights right here as we noticed in the model car. 1973 Ford Torino just had a different front from 1972, but the rest of the body was pretty much the same. Speaking of grades, I would give 10 to all of these cars. I really like that Ford Ranchero, and I think that Greenlight made a very good choice in choosing this model to reproduce and made it very well. The model cars are really well made and details are very well reproduced and very realistic. Racing Champions has done a great job as well in this El Camino, just like Greenlight did in the Rancheros and the Ford Torino. So I'd like to thank you for all likes and views, for all subscriptions. Please don't forget to subscribe in case you haven't subscribed yet. And also give me a thumbs up and share this video. Let me know down in your comments what you think about the cars and about the video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.